Good afternoon. This is Clear Life Combat. My name is Gardy. Right now it's 1:35 right here in Lamarck, Texas. I have a guest that is zooming in. I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself, and we're going to have some fun. Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. So if somebody hasn't had the chance to meet you before, can you introduce yourself? What's your name, and what do you have going on?
My name is Tyler VanKill. I'm originally from Canada. I'm living down in Mexico right now in Tijuana, training at Interim Gym. And I'm a professional fighter and jiu-jitsu guy. Do videos, instructionals, and stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, so that's how I've seen you, and I've followed you from my personal account for a while. And what is your Instagram account?
Squidvicious BJJ.
And I recommend that you follow that. If you're into jiu-jitsu, if you're into MMA or anything like that, there's a lot of really cool stuff. And so you have a pretty unique style and I guess a body build and stuff like that. So if somebody hasn't seen your Instagram before, how would you describe everything that you do, I guess, style-wise?
I would just say it's weird submissions from weird positions. You know, like a lot of stuff. I'm a judoka originally, so I moved to the States and I started training MMA. I was standing a lot more tall in almost like a judo stance, and I was going up against a lot of wrestlers. I moved to Phoenix, and a lot of the wrestlers were just shooting in double legs on me and taking me right to the ground. So I ended up on my back, and a lot of the time I just had to figure it out from there. So I just started doing weird things, and it started paying off real well. And then as I kept evolving in the sport of jiu-jitsu and MMA and everything, it kind of coined itself into this weird style. And when I first started training, I was 230 pounds. And as I lost weight and got healthier in the sport, I realized the level of flexibility that I had that I didn't before because I was kind of fat. So it aided itself to that. And then once I started doing that, like I realized I could put my leg behind my head. I can triangle choke myself by putting my legs, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird style, but it's very bendy and flexible. So once I started that and started figuring out my own style within the jiu-jitsu realm that I'm, the flexible bendy kind of style, I just started putting videos out there because there's always a lot of people that, first of all, will say that would never work, and I like to just annoy those guys.
Yeah.
And then for a lot of the people that have an open mind to jiu-jitsu and a lot of free thinking ability throughout the sport, possibilities are endless.
So how much weight did you lose, and was that all through combat sports or diet, or what, I guess, started that transition?
Yeah, so the lowest I got was 160. The highest I got was 230. So I started at 230 and then slowly kept cutting down to different weight classes. And now I compete at 165, walk around at 180. So I lost, 50 pounds of walk around weight. And then now I'll cut to 165, 155 when I fight.
Yeah, so was it, I guess, combat sports that led you to the weight loss, or was it more like, hey, I'm going to start exercising?
Definitely. I started, like I said, I did judo when I was a kid, and then I always wanted to get back into combat sports and fighting and everything. It's just life, life kind of got in the way, and I never got the ability to do it until I was 26. And then I started training full fledged. And by that time I realized I was super unhealthy and going with guys in the gym. Like I always had it mentally, but then whenever the physical part came down to it, I was like, oh my God, I'm a wreck right now. Like you need to, you need to ship up or shape out, bud.
Okay, so you started training judo whenever you were young. Did anybody else in your family train as well, or how did you have that introduction?
Yeah. So I have 3 siblings, and we all train because my mom's a black belt in judo.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, she was on Canadian national teams and traveled all through Canada and stuff doing judo and stuff. So whenever we were young, she kind of, for discipline sakes, and both my parents were in the military, so through her military background and then the judo, she had to train her kids somehow, and it was through discipline, through martial arts, and that was basically it. So I grew up in a house where me and my siblings weren't just fighting, we were sparring.
That's probably actually even a better thing, like to get your frustration out, but also, train. Or what was that
Yeah,
like?
big time, and I mean, it really gave me a sense of I think a little bit too far because I got picked on, but like a sense of like not bullying people, right? But like I took it to the point where I didn't stand up for myself and I got bullied, but I didn't like pick on people because I knew how to beat them up through judo and stuff like that, right? So it did instill that, and I mean I carry it to this day. It instilled that level of respect to other people and like
Yeah. So originally from Canada, and now
yeah.
you're in Tijuana right now, but you also mentioned training in Phoenix, and you've moved around a lot. You know what? I guess why?
I think whenever I was younger, I had like a lot of stability and I lived in the same house my whole life, grew up in a small town. Um, but I always knew that there was more out there. When you grow up in a place with 350 people and everybody knows everybody and their business, it's like you want more than that. And you see generations of people sitting at the local grocery store and their trucks all lined up on a Friday night. And it's generational, and I just always knew that I was meant for more in that way that everybody, wishes for themselves. And I realized just the only way to achieve that is to just go out and get it. And I luckily met my wife who is of a similar mindset,
Hmm.
and we just adventure together. It's pretty dope. Like we moved from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, down to Phoenix for a job opportunity that she had. And then that stuff kind of fell through and we just kept plugging away down there. I found training and then we moved from there to San Diego. And that's where I really like fell in love with jujitsu and training and everything. Was I started training under Barrett Yoshida over there. And at the arena. And that's where I went from white belt to purple belt. I'm still under the association. I still, I'm still affiliated with them. And yeah, I just took over my life.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I mean, like you mentioned, that makes sense. Coming from a small town, there's a whole world out there, and you can kind of
Yeah,
go wherever it leads you.
that's what it was. Like I always like, my Bumble, nowhere. I was just always kind of like, oh man, I wish I was in California. I wish I could live in California, like seeing all the movies, the
Yeah.
palm trees and everything. And like, it snows where I'm from, right? Like you'll get
Hmm.
there's snowstorms just happened last week. Like they had a snowstorm for like 3 or 4 days. You got to shovel your way out your back door, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing palm trees and I'm like, oh, this I'll never forget the first time I picked an orange off a tree and ate it. It was like the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome. Can we talk
Yeah.
about the name? So, Squidvicious. I guess how long has that been around, and where exactly did it come from?
I was one of my training partners, Kong. He's one of Barrett's black belts, and another guy, Russ. They Russell Fouts. They kind of just they're on the team, and we were just all bouncing back and forth names and this and that, making fun of me actually because I kind of look like Squidward
Oh,
in a picture that they posted. They
yeah.
did like one of those like double pictures where my face next to Squidward, and it was like virtually identical. And they started all laughing, and because like when you roll with me, it's like a squid because
Yeah.
like if I'm sitting here, I can just kind of like you know put
Yeah.
my leg put my
Oh
leg
my
behind my
God.
put my leg behind my head and like things like that. Like I can like kind of heel hook myself and like you know things like that where it's like oh it's kind of like rolling with a squid because you don't know where it's all coming from and stuff. So there's this like and then one of the guys like Squidvicious from the band, he
Yeah.
just said Squidvicious, and I was just like done. That's it. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So whenever I guess you do meet people and you go compete, I mean they will call you Squidvicious. It's been everything in me right now not to just call you Squidvicious like that's your name.
Yeah, appreciate it. I like it.
Yes. Okay, so
Better than
you
Tyler.
I was better than Tyler. And I guess the name VanKill, is that really your last name?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
I
pretty cool
legally
name.
changed that. My wife and I made it up because, like, yeah. So basically, like, um, my mom changed her name back to her maiden name, and my wife kind of like, she was married previously, and then like we were just gonna like when we got married, she didn't like I didn't want my name. She didn't want like it was kind of like a whole deal. So
Yeah.
we just kind of like we were sitting back and thinking of like back in the day when people had last names, like they kind of just either came up with them in certain countries and things like that, or it was kind of whatever, right? So we just wanted to start our own legacy. So she's Dutch and I'm Irish. So like the beginning of Dutch names starts with Van, and the beginning of like certain Irish names is like Kill, like Kilkenny, Killarney, Killian. So we just went ladies first and made VanKill. It's a
That's
Dutch
cool.
Irish name.
That is cool. I love that.
Yeah,
That's an awesome story. I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but that's a really cool story.
Yeah, I mean, why not start your own legacy, right? Now we have our
Exactly.
daughter who's the firstborn VanKill, and she'll continue that legacy. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of a way to kind of create your own path in a way that's like a little bit non-traditional, but it's kind of empowering in the same way that you don't have to be stuck to things that in life that you don't have to be. You know, like there's
Yeah.
ways around to get and become everything that you want to be.
Yes. Okay, so when it comes to your MMA career, jiu-jitsu career, and anytime competing, I mean, what are your goals and what are you looking to do for the rest of this year and beyond?
So basically, like I just like to win and beat people real quick because I don't like getting punched in the face a lot. I mean, but like this year, I just want to get as many fights as I can, and hopefully, my goal is to get to the UFC, um, bigger promotions,
Hmm.
and really just see where I got in this sport. Like everybody, I think really just keep going. And then I mean, jujitsu. I'll keep eating jujitsu forever. Like super fights. Like that's just my heart, jujitsu. So it's but like MMA, there you got a time limit for MMA. I didn't start training till I was later in life.
Hmm.
26. I didn't start MMA. I'm 34 right now, so I only got a little bit of time left. I'm still got a couple 3 years left, so I'll just see what happens there. But this year is definitely the year that I want to get as many fights in as possible and just see where I can take it.
Yes. What kind of feedback do you get from the videos and instructionals that you post? Is some people saying my body won't do that, or other people, it doesn't work for everyone?
It lands like the whole spectrum. I got people that fucking instant message me saying they want to come and punch me in the face because it won't work. And then I got more people messaging me saying like, hey, like this is really cool. It's helped my game. Like there's people that see my videos and they have the same style, and that's why I started doing it. Right. So it's one of those things where that's why I do it. But yeah, it's the internet, right? It's undefeated.
Yeah, it
you'll
is.
get you'll get the whole level of the spectrum. People hate me just because of my face, because I do this at the end of every video. I'll put my both hands up like that. I started doing it because I didn't know what to do with my hands, like,
Yeah, Ricky
so I
Bobby in
just
Talladega
started doing the,
Nights just lifts him up.
yeah, double jujitsu fingers, right? So I just did
Yeah,
that. And then people started hating on it at first, like, oh, this guy and his fingers. So then I was just like, all right, well, now I'm going to do it every time.
yeah. Well, it's kind of your thing, and I was gonna bring
Yeah.
that up at the end of every video. You stop, look at the camera, and do that, and it is like a trademark.
Yep. It became that way because somebody started talking crap to me. So I was like, all right,
You know,
doing it extra for you, bud.
I'm seeing I guess a pattern of like, even like if they call you, you say you look like Squidward, hey, you take that and run with it. If someone's
Yeah.
gonna make fun of something, you take that and I'm gonna make that, my thing.
Yeah.
Is that something that I guess you've noticed before?
I mean, kind of ever since I was a little kid, the way I look at it is, and one of my friends used to always say this to me, and it always resonated with me. And basically, if you can't take a joke, don't laugh, and if you don't like me, fight me.
And that's on some of your
You know?
merch as well, right?
Yeah, it is. That's what I mean. So it's like, if you don't like me, fight me, man. If not, shut up and go away.
Yeah.
Like, your negativity isn't needed here. And it's like basically like, if I can make fun of myself better than you can, then you suck.
All right. If you're just taking the time to join us, talking to Tyler VanKill, that's at Squidvicious BJJ on social media. You can follow him on there as well, and you'll probably be able to learn something. Hey, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you wanted to bring up or share?
No, I mean, just start jujitsu now if you haven't, because it can save you. Like, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be for competition. It doesn't have to be for anybody else other than you. I would just recommend, you know, going and taking the dive and finding a good school and starting your journey today,
You,
basically.
you should come out with an instructional for stretching and flexibility.
You know what? That's not a bad idea, because a lot of people lose it, and a lot of people want to do certain things, and you can't without certain stretching and stuff that's available. And you're not wrong there. I have a couple of videos on my Instagram for I was actually during the lockdown for stretching and different stretches that you can do that will really help open up your hips and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll do more of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and I really do appreciate everything.
Dude, I really appreciate you having me, man. It was great to be on. It was great chatting with you.
This is Clear Life Combat. My name is Gardy.